conversation is going round. People talking about the colors come to town. Fresh as a summer breeze, she'll take you by surprise.
Good morning and welcome to Fresh Waves. We have a fabulous show as always. But today we have to give a very warm shout out to our friend Jason Rumball, technical producer who has returned to us after being away ill for a month or more. Good Lord. But you're back. I'm really happy to have you back.
It's so great to be back, and I was returned back to the radio station yesterday, helping out Scott with his show, Sharing the Burden, so it's great to be back here on Fresh Waves. And
yep, it's fabulous to have you back.
Oh, it's great to be back and, get back into my normal routine. And I
think getting back to your normal routine, and especially being here, because Fresh Waves is such a nice show, that it's good for the healing process.
It is definitely good for sure, and dialysis helps too. Yeah,
yep, that's there you go. Yeah. We also have Jennifer. Jennifer, thank you for helping us yet again. It's nice to have a new face here on Fresh Waves.
It's good to be here again too. Nice to see you.
And we've got Ivan Harris, of course, who is just the man behind the scenes, running around doing all the wonderful things that he does for us. And we're so blessed to have him as part of this show. We've got a great crew here at Fresh Waves. And this is the third Wednesday of the month, which means something if you're listening to Whistle FM. It means absolutely nothing if you're listening to a podcast. But on this particular day, we have the one and only Jolana Pettifer of Jolana's Exceptional Home Decor. We did this
morning.
Show.
Yeah, it is so great to be here. It seems like such a long time.
Well, it was. We haven't done a show since the summer, before the summer, because we all get so busy in the summertime. And Jolana's a regular guest. If you ever want decorating tips, you're figuring that you're moving into a new season or that you just don't know what to do with your house, you can always go to our podcast at freshwaves.ca and listen to back episodes of Jolana's shows and get all kinds of great decorating tips. We do this show once a month because it's so popular. People love to find out about decorating.
They do, yeah.
Jolana, today we are going to talk about transitioning from our fun summer stuff into fall.
But fall is wonderful.
Don't hate it.
Say it.
I'm one of the only people on earth who hates fall.
Oh my goodness.
It's just, to me, I don't know.
Maybe I can change your mind.
Climate disorder or whatever it is I have. Forget climate change. It's just climate disorder. I just don't like the end of summer. I want to cling to summer as long as I possibly can. So anyway, but we are going to, it's fun. You pull out your newer clothes that you haven't worn in a few months, and it makes them feel fresh and fun and wonderful.
That sweater that I have on this morning, because I didn't know what do I wear. Is it summer? Is it winter?
I specifically wore all summer stuff and not one speck of fall stuff. But you know what? Fall's coming soon enough. So let's change up the house.
Yeah.
What are some easy ways that we're changing the feel of summer into the freezing cold feel of fall?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So you mentioned the sun does tend to be limited. They're shorter days, longer nights. So why don't we kind of bring out some of our throws that we've probably put away for the summertime. Bring out things like candles, because you can create that beautiful ambiance. Choose your song list carefully, because you can still add that little bit of fun just by simply putting on some beautiful,
music.
Yeah,
so I should switch it up from the Beach Boys.
Well, or keep it on if you want to keep that summer feeling going just a little bit longer.
Walking on sunshine.
There you go. And most of us in the summertime have been keeping our blinds down because the sun is so intense and it does get so hot. Why not, raise your blinds up, open up your drapes a little bit more, so to let in the light that is out there. Doing things like, the scent of a room. So using natural scents. There's so many beautiful opportunities now to put different scents into your room. Make that as part of your roomscape as the furniture. Changing up your accent cushions. I mean, that's always fun too. Usually in the summer we talk about getting brighter, funner, cushions out. Maybe
Funner?
funner.
Is that a word?
Funner. Well, it is. In
It
my
is now. Yeah,
vocabulary.
me too. We'll just add that to the list. Minor technicalities and funner.
Yeah, there you go. And going
Speaking of which, just a second, we've got to say a big shout out to Research
Oh, my
for
goodness,
giving
yes,
us the
we
muffins.
do.
That was the minor technicality.
technicality. That's awesome.
So I have a question that a listener actually,
Yeah.
It's funny because she prefaced it with, we used to buy clothes that would mix and match for an entire season or half a year.
Yes.
And people don't do that anymore. They tend to buy something that's cheaper, throw it out, get something else. But she said, is there anywhere where you can get cushions that are the same size that look nice on your couch, but have cases that you can change up for all the seasons? Because she said she heard us talking on another show about switching up the pillows, and she said she'd like to spend the money on a good quality pillow.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing as switching up the cases?
So ready-made, probably not. Custom, absolutely. Because custom, we can choose the fabrics, choose your trims, choose your contrast piping. Do we want to use the existing fills? Do we want to change your fills? When you go into a store, you will very, very, very rarely, I don't know if I've ever seen them except for possibly IKEA. I think you might be able to buy casings there, but for the most part, they're going to show it with the fill already in it.
Okay. So, and that was another question that a different listener had. See, we compile these questions, so if anyone wants to get a hold of us and give us questions or comments, Jay, how do they do that?
Yes, we're on Facebook. You can go to our Facebook page, Freshwaves on Whistle FM. Give us a like there. We're also on Twitter at Freshwaves Radio. And, I guess you can always call yourself, Bren, or call the station.
Yeah, sure. Call the station and
or send you an email.
Yeah, send me an email is probably better, Bren at
right.
freshwaves.ca, because if you call the station, I'm not sure I get the messages all the time, and if you call my cell phone,
so
whatever.
Better to send a message.
Send a message.
Yeah.
So I often get them off of Facebook, and this morning someone said, is there a benefit to buying down versus hollow fill or whatever else?
Like Dacron or any of
does
those
down
others.
last longer, or do you just get feathers poking through?
It's not so much that, it's usually the feel. So when you have a Dacron cushion and you put it behind your back, it doesn't allow your body to kind of sit back because it always keeps you sitting forward. So some people actually prefer Dacron because it gives them a little bit more of an upright seating. The feather down fills, I mean, you sit in them and you just smush right back to the back of your sofa. So for men, they love down because it doesn't shorten their leg space, right? Us ladies, we tend to like something behind our back. So typically that, and of course there's allergies. So some people will request Dacron or Terraline versus the down. But what do? We probably do 70%, at least 70% down, 30% would be Dacron or otherwise, because most people do really like the feel of it. Okay, so great question.
And that's funny that you said that, because I wanted to share with you a little thing that happened to me this summer. Is we were staying at a place in Europe, and the couches were out of this world stunning. The decor was beautiful, very, very different than a North American feel.
Right.
Very sparse, the white walls, typical white walls with paintings
Very
on them.
clean.
Bright orange lounging furniture in front of the television, so that you were always lying down, which was just fantastic. The couches were so deep, my feet didn't touch the ground, and I felt like an oversized baby doll. It was so awkward. So I was either sitting forward with a foot of space behind me,
or grabbing a pillow from your bed, right?
or grabbing two of the cushions from there and stuffing them up so that I'd have something to lean back on, because you can't sit forward for hours on end. It was, I mean, beautiful looking, but for me, it wasn't the best design. So I guess that's something you have to consider when you're looking for a couch.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's so many things that we look at when we're looking for couches. The height of it, the height of the arm, whether the arm goes back, whether the arm goes to the front, the height of the back cushions. all those things will feel completely differently. And that's why when I go into a client's home, I say, tell me how you want to use the space. So if they tell me it's more for relaxing at the end of the day, it's going to be a completely different pitch on the back of the sofa than if it is for entertaining, where typically you are engaging and listening to other people. So yeah, 100%.
So if you're engaging, is the back more
usually
straight
it's
up
a little
and
bit more
down?
straight up. Yeah.
And I know some people have really hard couches. You sit down expecting to
Yeah.
sit on something soft, and it's like sitting on a brick. It's like, oh, it's actually shocking.
Yeah, but you know what? Some people prefer it because
Yes.
there's a lot of people with back issues. So the firmer the foam core and the seat cushion, the easier it actually is to get out of the sofa. The softer
My
it
mom
is,
loves
right?
that hard sofa.
I
You were
know.
helping her to buy it, and every
I
time she
know.
sat on one of those soft, cushy ones, she'd, no, don't like this
No,
one.
she wanted it firmer. Yeah, so it again, that goes to function. How do we want to use the sofa?
Right.
Firmer.
And the place I was at this summer with
Yes.
the deep seat,
Yeah.
all the men, even the women in that family, they were all over 5'8", 5'9". They were all in around the 6 foot mark. So they're bigger people, and the couch was fine for them.
Yeah, well, of course. And when we're buying furniture, yes, we want to keep in mind that we're going to entertain and we're going to have guests, but we're buying it for ourselves. So I don't think you should ever compromise your comfort for the sake of having, you know,
A short guest show up.
Because trust me, you know I love my cushions, and I can fix you up with a whole whack of them so that it is not too deep for you. So no, definitely. When you are looking or starting the process, you really want to look at style, but you also definitely want to look at function, and you want to look at comfort 100%. Very important. And then that leads into what kind of fabrics do you want? Do you want a soft chenille? Do you want a linen? Do you want a leather? Do you want a vinyl? And that all really does get sorted out as we start the process of talking, how are you going to use the space?
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick little break here at Whistle FM, and we're going to be right back. You're listening to Fresh Waves. I'm your host, Bren Masson, and we're speaking with Jolana Pettifer. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm whistling at you. We at Whistle FM are always looking for new volunteers. Ever thought of producing a show, or hosting your own show, or maybe just helping out around the office? We could use your help, and you could become part of your community radio station. Drop us a line at admin@whistleradio.com or come by the station. We are located in the basement of Stouffville Fine Furniture. See you soon.
Hi folks, Kim Mitchell here. You know, however you choose to get around, your ATV, your snowmobile, your boat, car, if you have a motorcycle, all these things take 100% of your attention and skill to operate safely. Alcohol impairs that, and bad things can happen. So, be smart, okay? You know what I'm going to say next.
This message brought to you from the Safe and Sober Awareness Committee.
And we are back on Fresh Waves. I'm your host, Bren Masson. We're talking with Jolana Pettifer about bringing in the
fall season
Fall
that you
season.
aren't fond of, but I love it. So.
Yeah, I know. So, okay. Well, we'll approach it with enthusiasm.
Well, and you know, we're talking about inside, but fall to me is also enjoying outside. So when I tell you to start bringing out your throws, like don't forget about your outside entertaining. Most people now will have some kind of a fire pit, or they will have propane coffee tables that light up and give you flames. You can also buy the heaters to extend that time to be able to spend outside. So there's lots of opportunity to still enjoy that beautiful, beautiful fall weather.
Okay, I'll go with you on the beautiful, beautiful fall weather, even if it's just for a few minutes.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so we talked about throw pillows. We talked about... What about bringing in some of the plants that you have outside? Is that an option, or does it just look like you're starting a greenhouse inside your front?
Super great question. First of all, you have to know what you're doing when you're bringing outdoor plants indoors. There are a lot of insects that can be on plants that are outside, so you really do have to understand the process of doing it. Now,
hey, bugs, come on and make yourselves a home for the winter.
There we go. Now, there are some plants that people will take out in the summertime and bring it in the fall time. So yes, it is absolutely a great idea. Do I encourage people to set up a greenhouse like you're saying on the inside? You know what? I don't. But then again, if someone has a green thumb and they love their plants, I'm not going to tell you not to. I think there is a way to position them so it doesn't feel like a jungle. But certainly, as we know, green plants are great for the air. It cleans the air, and who doesn't want something real inside? So yeah, 100% you can, but understand what you're doing. Go online, understand what the process is, or go to any of our greenhouses that are within a stone's throw and ask qualified people what you should be doing.
Right. And do we kind of go with the adage of less is more just because that seems to be trendy right now?
Yeah. I mean, again, every home is different. Every style is different. Every person is different. But the more you put into a space, the smaller the space is going to feel. So if you want to create that feeling of openness, then yeah, I may encourage you not to bring a lot of plants into one particular room. Spread them out around the house.
Okay. And then you just got to run around the house and water them all.
Yeah, you do. And be careful when you do that, too. Because we do not want to mark any of our surfaces, right? So you just have to be very careful. But yeah, I encourage it. If you are good at it, 100% do it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Do we still have the ability to do renovations in this time of the year?
If you've lined up your contractor, yeah. But if you haven't, there's no way. Most contractors are booking well in advance because a high season to completion, of course, is Christmas. And in some cases, even Thanksgiving. So if you haven't started the process yet, I would suspect you are more than likely going to be looking at next year. But that's okay. Start going through the process. Start looking at images so that you can convey to whoever's helping you what your image is and what you hope a certain, what you hope to achieve with it, whether it's an addition or a makeover or whatever it is.
So there are certain renovations that you can do during
painting, 1,000% you can. Of course you can. New flooring, painting, new railings, recapping your stairs. We seem to be doing a lot of that lately. I think what happens is everyone's kind of lived in their home that, 12 to 15 years, and they're kind of saying, okay, we're not so fond of the carpet going from stringer to stringer. And so to recap your staircase and just simply do a runner or just leave them alone, it updates your home. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people are looking for, when they do some kind of an update, they want it to be an update that not only will they enjoy, but is also down the road going to be highly saleable. So hardwood floors, stairs, staircases, renovating kitchens, bathrooms, etc. They're all very important, but have a budget in mind.
Right. Mm-hmm. Do you get a good run for your money out of hardwood?
You do. Now, people are afraid of engineered versus hardwood. I encourage people to look at engineered. With our climate, you've got the heat, you've got the humidity, you've got the dryness, you've got the cold. We have everything in our climate, which is why I love it here, because we do get that true 4-season I just love the 4 seasons. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just go into it, enter into it educated, in a lot of, whether they're a basement or walkouts. We encourage you to look at things like vinyl flooring. They are beautiful. It's not the vinyl flooring of years ago. The finishes that are available on vinyl and hardwood flooring it's just wonderful right now because they've got everything from the wired brush to the satin to the matte. Very few people are going into the semi-glosses anymore just because you have to really maintain them, but the cleaning is, you have to do it all the time. So yeah, I very much encourage it.
Okay, now would you encourage hardwood floors over something like a heated floor, or it just depends on where you are?
Yeah, it depends where you are. So if you're doing an ensuite, now that's a great question because we just did a renovation where we used a porcelain floor, which is the closest that I have ever seen to a hardwood looking floor, and we actually heated the flooring through the master bedroom, the ensuite, right into the dressing room. So today you can have your cake and eat it, as they say. You really can.
I have, not here so much, but I spent a fair bit of time in Europe this summer, and I saw things that I have never seen before.
Like in terms of materials? Or?
Hardwood
Yeah.
that ended up being porcelain. Wood in a shower that I thought, who would ever put wood in a shower?
yeah.
It's porcelain tiles.
Yeah, I know.
Heated floors throughout. Gorgeous applications of flooring. And even stairways that I thought were for sure wooden staircases, and they ended up being porcelain. I was stunned.
Yeah, the difference, like again, research and development, some companies, the Italians are brilliant at this. The research and development that goes into the products, especially the wood-looking grain, their laser printing now is so good that they can have multiple patterns per tile. So, you know how you go into somewhere and there's maybe 2 different tiles and they kind of randomly place them? Well, now you can get up to 10, 12 different tiles from the same product. So as you're laying it, it looks like it's the real thing, and you should always stagger lay it. You should never line it up, which most tilers who do it for a living will tell you that, but every once in a while we walk into some and they've been all like straight laid and it's like, no. So understand the application. The other beautiful thing with the porcelain tiles, you can do herringbone. Why not do a beautiful herringbone application?
Now, once you get into those patterns end up costing you a bit more money, don't they? Because they're more labor intensive.
You're going to have also more cutting to do. So definitely. But the sky's the limit, and understand that you don't just have to do, the conventional lay. You can actually do some really, really interesting applications.
I'm kind of a designer moron, as you know. And I start looking at these things because of the show, because we talk about it and I start to notice things. I was in a bathroom, a beautiful bathroom in a home, and I was thinking, why is this bathroom just looking so beautiful? It's a rectangular shape. It's not, there's nothing seems to be that special. Then I noticed that the tiles on the wall were like 2 feet by 2 feet.
Yeah,
they were beautiful color.
We do 3 by 4 now.
And they had a glass countertop, which in the end ended up being really impractical. Make sure there's no makeup on it. Make sure you don't drop anything on it because you don't want to break this Italian glass countertop. I would never in a million years. That just isn't my style. But the first tile guy that they had, tile layer, is that what you call him?
Yeah.
He actually, after 2 days, said he wasn't going to continue with the job. He was too afraid of busting one of these Ralph Lauren tiles. And the tiling itself on this small bathroom was $40,000.
Yeah.
So, in the end, I think, wow, it really looks pretty, but that's a price tag that I just could never stick on a bathroom wall.
Yeah, and again, I'm telling you, the hardwood flooring, the porcelain tile today, they're absolutely incredible. You cannot tell the difference. In fact, I keep telling my client, stop telling them that it's porcelain, because they all come in and say, oh my gosh, I love your porcelain floors, or I love your hardwood floors. And she points out that they're not. They're porcelain. I'm like, don't do it.
Now, you can heat the porcelain floor.
That's my point.
And you cannot heat the hardwood floor.
Yeah, that is my point. Absolutely. And, truly it is magnificent. Like, it is absolutely
Now, could you
beautiful.
put that throughout the entire house?
100%. Yeah, this house we did probably half the house in it because they live in the country and they have animals, they have dogs, they have kids, they have grandchildren, and they do not want it to be a home where every time someone comes in, they're always telling them, take your shoes off, wipe your shoes, wipe your feet.
Now, how's porcelain with dropping? So if you drop a big heavy bowl on it, are you going to smack it?
Well, probably. But if you get a good quality tile, if it's just a small drop, like a knife hits it and chips it, the color actually goes through. So the chances of you not seeing it are very, very good.
Okay.
If you are going to drop something really heavy and it's going to crack a tile, you make sure you have extra tiles because it's very easy to change it up. Yeah.
Okay, because it's not so easy on the hardwood floors. I noticed when one of our kitchen,
you just have to pull it back.
Yeah, one of our kitchen chairs got knocked onto the floor and took a big chunk out of the hardwood, and it, I was there with my magic marker kind of thing. But that's just the way I fix things, as you know.
Yeah, I do know.
All right, we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we do have a question from another listener, and that is that they just inherited a beautiful table. Do they decorate around the beautiful table. So we'll
Can
talk
they
about
send us
that.
a picture? I'd love to see it.
So we'll talk about that when we get back from our next little break. You're listening to Fresh Waves. I'm your host, Bren Masson. We're talking decorating with Jolana. We'll be right back.